Welcome. How you guys doing? It's another edition of Coffee with the Goose. You know, we talk about things that are interesting, we hope, fascinating, irritating, hopefully all three of those. I am the Goose, and I'm so glad you joined me for another show. And if you missed the last one, it was all about nurses, and specifically Filipino nurses, and how they are at the front line of the COVID battle, and they have all my respect and hopefully your respect as well. So look back, great show. Anyhow, hopefully this one will be great too. Going back to boxing now, and we think it's starting to look like Manny Pacquiao's next fight will be Terence Crawford. And if that is the case, I will be extremely happy, because I don't want to see, I don't know about you guys, but I don't want to, oh, hold it. Forgot my, should we deal with the dog here? Oh, let's see. Hey, Cammy, John, this is going to be part of the show. Really? Cooper thinks he's a star of the show. Okay, where were we? All right, close the door. Thank you. All right, now we're set. Where was I? It's coffee with the... Oh, coffee. Yes, it's coffee. I'm the Goose, and we're into coffee. And, you know, I'm not too proud. I'm not so proud where I'm just going to stop the show and start over. You know, this is a big money business. Anyhow, my coffee, as you know, very strong, like my opinion. And I got some creamer in there to make it sweet, just like you know who, right? And yes, it is real coffee. Thanks for asking. One more, just to prove it. All right, here we go. Back to boxing. I'm going to be very, very happy if Pacquiao's next fight is against Terence Crawford. Why? Because he's a big name champion. He has one of the 4 belts in the welterweight division. I'm, you know, with all respect to Conor McGregor, it's not going to be him. Respect to Ryan Garcia, kinda. It's not going to be him. It's not going to be Errol Spence Jr., although that would have been good too. But it's going to be, it looks like it's going to be Terence Crawford. Let's delve into this a little bit, shall we? This, in my humble opinion, and I don't claim to be an expert. I've said this before. But I've been watching boxing, big time boxing, for almost 50 years now. I remember watching Muhammad Ali back in the 60s, you know, Joe Frazier, you know, George Foreman, Sugar Ray Leonard, Marvin Hagler, all those great fighters, right up to the present generation, including the great Manny Pacquiao. And this I can say with all confidence, Terence Crawford will be the biggest test among the current crop of welterweight fighters for Manny Pacquiao. Crawford is partly because he's unbeaten and he's a champion. What is he, 37-0, something like that now, undefeated from Omaha, Nebraska. I love Terence Crawford. He is the real deal, as they say. He's got all the skills and more skills than most other fighters. He's an orthodox fighter, meaning he's right-handed, but he'll switch over to left-handed. He's ambidextrous, as it appears, at least in the ring. He is tough as nails. He's quick on his feet, and that, of course, is something that Pacquiao has had problems with. Opponents who are very agile. He is, again, fights with both hands. He's very quick with his hands, and he's very, very smart, and he'll switch sides with you at will. You don't know what's coming next, and kind of reminds me of Pacquiao, right? Jude asked me before the fight, or before the show, who does Terence Crawford remind you of? Floyd Mayweather. That's who he reminds me of. You know, he's in a way, I mean, he's got all those skills. On one side, he's not quite as defensive minded and skilled defensively as Floyd Mayweather, but he will get in your face and duke it out, unlike Floyd Mayweather. So Terence Crawford is a great fighter. The only problem I've had with him as an opponent with Manny is his resume. And again, you know, forgive me for repeating myself, it's not his fault. You know, the fighter is at the behest of his promoter. That's really who's in charge of who he's going to fight next. Yeah, he has some input on it, some influence as to who he's going to fight next. But it all boils down to how much money are you going to make with this fight? Who, you know, how many people are going to pay pay-per-view to watch this fight. That's all promoters care about. And really, that's all we as fans should care about. How popular is it going to be? How big a show is it going to be? Crawford has fought some good fighters. There's no doubt about it. He's beaten some big names: Gamboa, Postal, Jeff Horn, Amir Khan. His last fight against Kell Brook, which was a KO, although I had a little problem with the little taste of corruption there, although he was going to win the fight anyhow. And in his amateur career, he defeated Mikey Garcia and Danny Garcia. So Terence Crawford has fought some great competition throughout the years. Not as good as Errol Spence Jr. and certainly not as good as nobody's beaten as many great fighters as Manny Pacquiao has. But Crawford is a polished, true champion, and it's going to be a great matchup if it happens, and it looks like it's going to happen. Now, who is Terence Crawford? And a lot of you guys have heard the name. You may have even seen one or two of his fights, but you don't know a whole lot about him. Well, let's go down some facts for you, okay? I think he's 33. He's been fighting as a professional since 2014. He's from Omaha, Nebraska. He is 5'8" tall. His reach is about 70 inches. Both of those exceed Manny Pacquiao, who's 5'6", with about 67-inch reach. But we've heard that many times before. He is one of the very few fighters to have an undisputed title that was as light welterweight a few years back. He won and held all 4 belts at the same time. That's a rare feat. So, Terence Crawford is respectable, and he's to be taken very seriously. He fights for Top Rank in Bob Arum. And as you know, Manny Pacquiao fought for Bob Arum for many, many years before that debacle in Australia, where he was robbed at the hands of Jeff Horn, and then he decided to go his own way. He's now with PBC, I think. Hard to say right now, but he's not with Bob Arum anymore. Terence Crawford is, and that's why really we haven't seen him challenged more. He has been challenged, but not a whole lot more than that, because he fights for Bob Arum. He's the cash cow, and Arum doesn't want to risk the money, of course. What does he bring to the table? Everything. Terence Crawford is a fearsome opponent. He's tall. He's always in great shape. He has all the skills. He has the great footwork. He can hit you with both hands. He has a great chin, although he has been knocked down. I don't think they called it a knockdown a couple of fights ago, but it was a knockdown. Come on, he's human. But he does have a good chin. And more than that, he has ring generalship. What does that mean? That means he's in command. He's in command. He's the aggressor. He's the one setting the pace, if you will. And he is a very, very smart fighter. He's known for, I won't say he doesn't fight for the first few rounds, but he's feeling you out. He wants to kind of, get a grasp of your skills and how you react to his game, and then he'll go in for the kill. And he's gone in for the kill, I think 28, forgive me, I don't have the numbers in front of me, 28 out of his 37 fights. He's a very dangerous fighter, as Kell Brook, and I think 5 or 6 of his last 5 or 6 opponents were all lost via TKO or KO. So, Terence Crawford is a very worthy opponent. I haven't really gotten a chance to see how many people would pick him to beat Manny Pacquiao, but I venture to say it's a lot. Just 3 names that come to mind. Zab Judah, great fighter in his day, says that Crawford will beat him. Robert Garcia, the great manager, the great trainer, says, hey, he's just too young and has too many skills for Pacquiao. I think Robert Garcia might change his mind as this potential fight gets closer. And Mikey Garcia. And And I got to pick on Mikey Garcia just for a second, just in fun. I respect Mikey Garcia. He's only lost once, and I think that was to Terence Crawford. Mikey Garcia is a great fighter. We were talking a while back, maybe he would fight Pacquiao, and that, of course, didn't pan out. But Mikey Garcia actually said, now, Mikey, I can't believe you said this, that Pacquiao's just looking for safe fights. He's not going to take any risk. Really? When is that ever? What world are you living in with that comment, Mikey Garcia? Pacquiao has never been the type of guy to just play it safe and don't fight anybody who's a big risk. He's always fought guys who are bigger and badder. And well, I'll give you an example. I'll give you some numbers here. I think it's 22 or 23. Pacquiao has fought more champions than anybody. Don't get ahead of me now. Floyd Mayweather says he has. No, I've done my homework, guys, okay? Manny has fought more champions, beaten more champions than Floyd Mayweather has, and he has fought more champions than Floyd Mayweather has. Don't play with the numbers. Those are both true statements. Anyhow, come on, Mikey. You're a great fighter, but don't. Anybody who says Manny is afraid or ducking or playing it safe doesn't know anything about Manny Pacquiao or has never followed his career, because that's not what he does. He faces the best there is and usually beats him. So anyhow, enough about Manny. We're talking about Terence Crawford, the Omaha, Nebraska native. It looks like he's going to be the next challenger. Well, I guess he wouldn't be the challenger. He'd be the incumbent. He'd be the title holder. Manny would be seeking his belt. Manny was the WBA champion, but they took the title away from him because he hasn't fought in a year and a half. That's kind of ridiculous because he doesn't fight in front of an empty stadium. He wants the big crowd. And of course, I don't want to see him fighting in front of nobody either. So that was kind of ludicrous, taking his title away. And anyhow, it would be, Pacquiao would be the challenger against Terence Crawford, who is the current champion, one of the belts in the welterweight division. It's going to be a great fight. I'm very excited about it. Where is it going to be? I don't know. I can safely say it's not going to be in the United States because we're still so psyched out about this, for good reason, but we're a little too psyched out. So we're not going to see a big crowd, shoulder to shoulder anytime soon, unfortunately. It's probably going to be overseas, maybe Asia or the Middle East. We'll see. But I think this announcement's going to come very soon because Pacquiao has said he's going to announce it very soon. And I think the other day, ESPN came out with a story. Who should Pacquiao fight next? Well, if ESPN is announcing, coming out with this story, it's coming up. They know something's in the works, and now we do too. It's Pacquiao has actually made it clear that he wants $40 million to fight Terence Crawford and give Terence $10 million. Who does Pacquiao think he is fighting for? He's Manny Pacquiao. That's who we think he'll get his money. He'll get plenty of it. And Terence Crawford, I think his biggest payday was his last fight. I think maybe one before that, but I don't think he's made any more than $5.5 million for any fight. So $10 million would be a great payday for Terence Crawford. So we'll see. It's all negotiations anyhow. Who knows what the final numbers will be. But I think this thing is going to happen, and I think we're going to hear the official announcement very, very soon. Anyhow, love to have you comment on the potential fight and who you think might win, whether you think it's a good fight or not. Love to hear what you have to say, and maybe I'll learn a few things hearing from you too. I'm always open to other thoughts, and you guys are a very smart crowd. Okay, that's it for this edition of Coffee with a Goose. Thank you so much for watching. We will keep you abreast of what's happening in the boxing world, and we'll talk to you again soon. All right, take care.